You are standing in a crowded room. Someone collapses. You wait for someone else to move first. Everyone else is waiting too. But the real answer for why you freeze is far stranger than simple cowardice. It has nothing to do with how much you care. It has everything to do with math your brain runs without asking you. Picture a city street in 1964. A woman named Kitty Genovese is attacked outside her apartment building in Queens, New York. Newspapers later claimed dozens of neighbors heard her cries and did nothing. That story turned out to be exaggerated. But the question it raised was real, and it stuck. Why do people fail to help when other people are around to see it? Two psychologists took that question seriously. Bibb Latané and John Darley didn't accept the easy explanation that city dwellers had simply become cold and indifferent. They suspected something more mechanical was happening inside the human mind, something older than cities, something wired in long before anyone built an apartment building. So they built an experiment. They put people in a room, alone or with others, and filled the room with smoke seeping in from a vent. When someone was alone, they almost always got up and reported it, quickly, without hesitation. But when there were other people in the room, people who had been secretly instructed to stay calm and do nothing, something changed. The real subject looked around, saw calm faces, decided the smoke must not be a real threat, and sat there, breathing it in. Nobody told them to ignore danger. Their own eyes told them everyone else looked fine, so they matched. This is called social proof, and it runs far deeper than smoke-filled rooms. Latané and Darley ran a second experiment. A person appeared to have a seizure over an intercom, calling for help. When a bystander believed they were the only one listening, they helped almost every time, and fast. But when they believed 4 other people were also listening, helping dropped by more than half. And it came slower when it came at all. The presence of other people didn't just add witnesses. It subtracted responsibility from each individual person in the room. Researchers named this diffusion of responsibility. Your brain does a quiet calculation the moment you sense a crowd. If 10 people could help, then you are only 10% responsible. If 100 people could help, you are barely responsible at all. The math feels true even when it isn't fair. But why would evolution build a brain that does this? Think back, not to 1964. Further, think to a small band of early humans on an open savanna, maybe 50 individuals total, moving together for safety. In a group that size, everyone knew everyone. If a predator appeared, or a child wandered too close to a ravine, there was no anonymity. Everyone could see who acted and who didn't. Reputation was survival currency. Failing to help meant the whole band knew you failed. And a band that didn't trust you might not share food with you later, might not defend you later, might quietly let you fall behind on the next migration. In small groups, responsibility could never diffuse. There was nowhere for it to go. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies, including long-term fieldwork by researchers like Kim Hill among the Aceh of Paraguay, have documented just how tightly these small bands relied on mutual aid and constant social monitoring. Everyone's actions were visible. Everyone's help, or lack of it, was remembered. Your brain still runs that ancient program. It still asks, without your permission, a single question in any moment of crisis. Is anyone watching who will remember whether I acted? In a group of 50 people who know your name, the answer is yes, every time. In a crowd of strangers on a city sidewalk, the answer is almost always no. Nobody will remember you specifically failed to help. Nobody will trace it back. So the ancient alarm that once forced action stays quiet, not because you are heartless, because the exact social signal that used to trigger urgency, visibility, familiarity, reputation, simply isn't present anymore. Here is the counterintuitive twist. It isn't crowd size alone that causes the freeze. It's anonymity within the crowd. Later studies bore this out. Researchers found that when bystanders could see each other's faces, or believed others could identify them individually, helping rates climbed back up, even in larger groups. The moment you strip away anonymity, you restore the ancient conditions your brain evolved for. Suddenly, you are back in the band of 50. Suddenly, someone might remember. There's another layer to this. one that has less to do with responsibility and more to do with reading the room itself. Psychologists call it pluralistic ignorance. It sounds complicated. It isn't. Picture everyone in that smoky room glancing at each other, each person keeping a calm face because they don't want to overreact in front of strangers, while privately thinking something might be wrong. Each calm face convinces the others that everything must be fine. Nobody is actually calm. Everyone is performing calm for everyone else, and everyone believes the performance. Have you ever laughed at a joke you didn't understand because everyone around you was laughing? That's the same circuit. You read the group instead of reading the situation. It usually works. Humans built entire civilizations on this shortcut, trusting the group's judgment instead of recalculating every threat from scratch. But in the rare moment when the group itself is wrong, the shortcut fails everyone at once. None of this means people are simply bad or crowds are simply broken. Once you know the mechanism, you can override it. Latané and Darley themselves noted that awareness of the bystander effect measurably increases the odds someone will act. Simply understanding the diffusion of responsibility seems to interrupt it. There is a second tool that works even more reliably, one now taught in basic first aid and CPR courses worldwide. If you are ever the one who needs help in a crowd, don't shout, "Somebody help me!" Point at one specific person. Look them in the eye. Say, "You, in the blue jacket, call an ambulance." The instant you assign responsibility to one identifiable person, you recreate the band of 50. Anonymity collapses. The ancient circuit switches back on, and it switches on fast. Think about how much of your daily life still runs on this same old math, even outside of emergencies. An email sent to 12 people gets answered by nobody because everyone assumes someone else will handle it. A group project stalls because responsibility is split so many ways, nobody feels the weight of a single piece. A group chat asks a question, and it sits there unanswered for hours, not because nobody knows the answer, but because 30 people are quietly doing the same calculation you'd do standing over a stranger on a sidewalk. Your ancestors never lived in a chat with 30 people in it, but the software running in your skull hasn't caught up. It still applies savannah math to situations the savannah never prepared you for. Is that a flaw? Or is it just an old tool being asked to do a new job? Maybe it's both. The instinct that once kept 50 people alive on an open plain didn't disappear when humans built cities, offices, and group chats. It just got quietly outnumbered. Every stranger added to a room is another vote for silence. Another reason your ancient brain assumes someone else has already taken responsibility. The next time you're in a room, a chat, or a sidewalk crowd and something feels wrong, notice the moment your eyes flick to everyone else's face before you decide how to feel about it. That flick is thousands of years old. It was built for a version of the world that no longer exists. You are not standing in a small band of 50 anymore. Nobody in the crowd will remember your name. And the real answer for why you freeze isn't cowardice at all. It's an ancient survival calculation, quietly running in a world it was never built for.